Hey everybody, it is Rick. Even though we're in December physically, I'm still in November physically. And we're finally going to talk about what I watched the first week in November. This video will drop sometime in early to mid December. But we're into November. Only have 4 movies to talk about. I actually am pretty much caught up on my reviews, which I like. The movies are more fresh in my mind. I can talk a little more comfortably about stuff instead of waiting a month to talk about something I watched a month ago. So we're going to dive in. As you guys saw from the screenshot, only one physical movie to talk about. The rest of the stuff was watched on streaming services. We're out of spooky movie season, so the first thing I watched was just something I was looking to kill some time, have my Stars app. I've still, as of right now, I've only watched the first episode of Heels. At least I watched one. I have 7 more. My Stars expires in 4 weeks. Gotta watch them. Hopefully sometime soon. The first movie we watched was on Stars. We didn't watch it. I watched it. Bridget had no interest. It's a movie called Dr. Detroit. It looked like a fun, mindless 80s comedy. That's what I was looking for. Starring Dan Aykroyd as Clifford Skridlow. Skridlow, I believe is his last name. A professor who gets thrown into a career as a pimp. That is the plot for this movie. Movie is rated R for content, but really comes off with it's very PG-13 for nowadays standards. There is a risque plot. Obviously, he is a pimp. He is surrounded by prostitutes. That is the plot of the film. The story is fun. You can tell Dan Aykroyd was having a lot of fun while he made it. He has some really funny moments. The plot, pretty lackluster, but overall a fun watch. Actually better than I expected because I went in thinking this was going to be horrific. I believe this is a Shout Factory Blu-ray. Don't need to buy that for me. I'm saying this was a one-time watch. Dr. Detroit gets a 2.5 out of 5 for me. A fun movie, but not something I would necessarily need to watch it. Also has a young Fran Drescher in it as well. Next up was a documentary on HBO Max called Swiped, Hooking Up in the Digital Age. So the documentary was intriguing to me because I met my girlfriend, Bridget, who I've been with now for 4.5 years, on Tinder, a dating app that a lot of people use for hooking up. I actually met the love of my life on, so was intrigued to watch it. That's kind of what, sold me. I found true love on a dating website. I know a lot of people, as talked about in this movie, use it for hooking up and don't really find someone in a serious relationship. So this film looks at how young Americans all over the U.S. use the app Tinder and other dating apps. A lot of focus on Tinder. And the second half, they talk about Bumble briefly. They also talk about Grindr, which was a big app in the LGBTQ community. Bumble was an important app because the women had to message the men first. Men just couldn't go messaging 800 women when they matched with them. They had to match, and the woman had to be the first one to contact the man. They talked about how important Grindr was to the LGBTQ community. How in areas where being gay or homosexual is kind of looked down upon or frowned upon, that app really provided dating to people where they didn't have a lot of chances or exposure to it before the app. So that was kind of interesting. The owner and creator of Tinder was interviewed in this. They also interview experts in the fields of dating and psychology, which was an interesting look. But my biggest issue with this is, like I said, they talk a lot about younger people using the app, college-age kids, young 20-somethings. There were so many dislikable people in this movie, in this documentary, that it really just made it hard to watch in parts. I get that it was geared towards the young 20-somethings, but man, oh man, I was angry watching certain parts of this movie. And like I said, just unlikable people in parts of this movie made it tough to watch. I gave Swiped a 2.5 out of 5. An interesting documentary. Not something I would necessarily recommend, like the couple HBO Max docs I checked out a few weeks ago, that I talked about. Next up, this watch was spawned from a episode of The Goldbergs that RJ and I watched, and it is Eddie the Eagle, which stars Taron Egerton and Hugh Jackman. Bridget had never seen it. She said she had been curious about watching it. There's an episode where Barry's hero was Eddie the Eagle, and we decided to watch this, a PG-13 movie, fairly family-friendly. A couple things that I probably should have muted or fast-forwarded, but nothing like crazy, like uncomfortable. I love true story films. I love true story feel-good sports films, and this was that. Taron Egerton, who I've decided is one of the most consistent actors working. I pretty much have enjoyed everything I've seen him in except for The Billionaire Boys Club, and he was probably the best part of that movie, even though that movie was awful. The only two movies of his I have not seen are Robin Hood, which I do want to watch. I believe I have on Blu-ray. I don't know now in 4K. And Testament of Youth, which has Kit Harington and Alicia Vikander, so I'm pretty curious about that one now. But Taron Egerton plays Eddie the Eagle Edwards. His name isn't even Edward, but they call him Eddie the Eagle Edwards. I forget his real first name, but they essentially called him Eddie Edwards. He got that nickname, and then they started calling him Eddie the Eagle. He has childhood inspirations or aspirations of wanting to be an Olympic athlete. He ends up finding a loophole and tries to become the first English ski jumper in nearly 60 years in the 1988 Calgary Olympics, where he attempts to be mentored by Bronson Peary, who's played by Hugh Jackman, who was a U.S. skier who has a drinking problem. And it's just a fun, heartwarming story. An entertaining movie. I gave Eddie the Eagle a 4 out of 5. Definitely recommend this. Definitely staying in the collection, staying on the shelf. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Eddie the Eagle. And then the last movie we watched was also on HBO Max, and it is a film called Shiva Baby, a 2021 movie. We chose to watch this because it was on a night where we were watching TV and we had some time, and this was like one of the shortest movies on my watch list. Because on Letterboxd, I'll promote Letterboxd here because I'm about to renew my subscription because I pay to be a pro on Letterboxd. It's $20 a year and gives me more access to stats and stuff. I love that kind of stuff. So for $20 to support a website, especially Letterboxd, that I mention every one of my videos that I cannot praise enough. I know I've told you RJ has a Letterboxd. My sisters both have Letterboxd. I've gotten a bunch of YouTube people to join Letterboxd, and I'm friends with them. I know PlatX2 recently joined. So I love Letterboxd. And what you can do is you can organize your watch list by like earliest made to newest, longest runtime to shortest, shortest runtime to longest, most popular. Like you can organize your to watch list in any way. So I was looking at short movies, and Shiva Baby, which is a 2021 release, was like 77 minutes. I said, perfect. So we popped it on. Tells the story of Danielle, who the movie starts out, she is a sugar baby to someone. If you're not familiar with that terminology, a sugar baby is I guess to be a woman or a man who is paid by a sugar daddy or sugar mama. I don't know if that sugar daddy and sugar baby are the popular terms. She's engaging in activities with this person. The person gives her money. Then she meets up with her family to go to a Shiva. A Shiva is a post-funeral in the Jewish culture, I believe. So she shows up at the Shiva with her mom and dad, and the tension automatically elevates in this film when the sugar daddy is at the same Shiva that she's at. She also doesn't know, Danielle doesn't know who passed away, so she's like trying to ask her parents whose Shiva it is because she has no idea. Every time I hear Shiva, I think of The lead makes me want to revisit the lead. They date a girl named Shiva, and she gets the trophy named after her. But so the sugar daddy shows up. Danielle starts getting uncomfortable, and then the sugar daddy's wife and child show up, a baby. So there's this mix of humor and tension, and all in this like 70, without credits, 70-minute runtime, basically 70 to 72-minute runtime, which seems like the perfect amount of time for the movie. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's all pretty much taking place in this house where the Shiva is occurring, except for the beginning of the movie when they're at the apartment of the sugar daddy. Rachel Sennott is the lead. She plays Danielle, gives an outstanding performance in the lead role, makes the movie very watchable, leaves you like wondering what's going to happen next. Some familiar faces thrown in there, but not like a lot of major stars. So I gave Shiva Baby a 3.5 out of 5. A fun watch, one I definitely recommend. Eddie the Eagle was a real standout. Glad to finally watch that. And that is it, guys. That is everything that I watched the first week of November 2021. So thank you guys, as always, for watching this video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you don't do so already. Also, be sure to hit that bell notification so you guys know when new videos are coming to the channel. Also, check out the description box down below where you can find links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies I watch. Also, my Blu-ray.com profile, Amazon wishlist, eBay store, P.O. box, and email address can all be found down below. And that is it, guys. So as always, until next time, who's down to movie?